Because, you know, even the, like, for example, some people also suggested in the past to reduce the range in the yoink. If you reduce the range in the yoink at a pro level, it will be almost impossible to use them efficiently. Because suddenly you would have like an onslaught of units that can kill Viper before it does anything. That's the problem. So I don't know.
What's going on?
Additional supply depots required. That'll cost more minerals than we have. We don't have enough minerals. We need more minerals for that. We don't have enough minerals.
What about consuming units instead of buildings? Now that's an actually interesting idea. Like Defiler and Brood War. That's an actually interesting idea. Because in the current state, they have infinite energy basically, right? As long as you're sucking on buildings. But making it eat your units, even if it's Zerglings, right? I mean, obviously it would be like return on energy per HP sacrifice or something like that. I think that's how Defilers were, right? I mean, see, that's a nerf that's something that I would make, right? What you suggested, I like that change. I don't like necessarily the change like, oh, reduce its range by 1. Doesn't make sense, but what you just suggested in the chat with that change, I like that. Because is it a huge nerf to the point where it's unplayable? No, but it is a nerf. Because suddenly, yeah, you're gonna have infinite energy, but you're eating your money, literally, for faster energy. And I think that's a fair trade-off, right? I mean, imagine if you're a Terran, would you eat your own minerals if you could get the Yamato recharge faster? Of course you would. Any race would. Would Protoss eat its minerals to have faster storms? Of course. Or not faster, but faster region. Broodlords and Ultras already suck? No, they don't. How can you say that when Zerg's winning everything? Like, where do people get this information? Are you watching your favorite streamers that complains about Ultras being weak? I'm genuinely curious. Where do people get that information? Ultras get used all the time. People in you know where the ultra misconception comes from. In Brood War, you would make ultras every game, right? In StarCraft II, ultras are more situational units. You can't just make them versus everything. That's not how it works. You gotta make them to counter something or as a response to something. If you're just making ultras for the sake of making them, of course they're bad, right? That's like making Vikings, right? Making 50 Vikings and saying like, oh, they're shit and there's no flying units. Of course. They're not supposed to be massed, just like ultras aren't either. They're supposed to be used in certain situations against certain units. A proper Zerg player that understands how Zerg tech switching work will use ultras very well. But yeah, if you're expecting to make ultras and win games because you made them because they're tier 3 units, you're gonna have a bad time.
Talk to me.
I mean, like people are talking about ultras being bad. Have you tried making a Thor, just massing them, right? Just versus whatever. Now that's a shit unit to just randomly mass. But that's the thing, they're not supposed to be masked. They're supposed to be used in a specific way. Think about that.
Picking up or dropping off?
Waiting on you.
Getting fired up here, boss. Talk to me.
Talk.
Let's set someone.
Ready for...
What's the story? Done and Doc's got the extra firepower. SCV ready. We're getting fired up here, boss. I hear you. Talk to me. What's the story? Ready. Done.
Ready for pickup?
Add-on is up and running.
I hear you. Getting fired up here, boss. Doc. FTV ready.
Energy's... Not enough energy.
Talk to me, boss.
Command center has... Energy's too low.
We in the rear with the gear. Is that it?
Putting our
Bad news, SCV ready.
reporting for action.
Yo, go ahead.
Our SCVs are under fire.
Huh? Ready to scare me. SCV ready.
Putting our SCVs. That's low. Need more minerals.
SCV ready. Let's do this. I'm going in. SCV ready.
Our base is under attack. Initiating.
Talk to me. Big job.
Add-on.
Are you ready? Talk to me, boss. Huh?
Not enough energy.
That was really bad for me.
What's going on? Light it. Daylight burning. Are you
That'll cost more. We don't have enough minerals.
I had such a good lead there.
Need something liberated?
What's going on? SCV ready. Woo-hoo. Ah!
Upgrade is ready for use. We've completely mined out a mineral field.
SCV ready. I'm waiting on you. Talk to me, boss.
Energy's too low.
Hell yeah. Huh? I hear you. Yo. I'm heavy.
Standing by. We don't have enough minerals. Need more minerals for that. Got it. Attention!
I'm waiting on you.
Ah, Commander. Need something liberated?
Right on.
Battle station. Easy.
Roger. I'm waiting on you.
Need something liberated? We read you. Initiating. Mineral field depleted. That'll cost more minerals than we have. Our base is under fire.
Roger.
left in that mineral cluster. Research complete.
Give up! Oh, got something. Go ahead.
That'll cost more minerals than we have.
I am here. Click me. Drop that hammer.
Upgrade is ready for you.
Here.
Easy. Not enough Beasty.
Ready for this? Need some? Hear me. Yeah, whatever.
We mined out a mineral field.
We hear you. Bandit, huh? Got no patience. Sitting around. Ready. Ready to raise some hell. Yeah. What's that? What's going on?
Can't build it.
Here's the hot action. Are you ready for this?
Our base is under attack. More minerals for that. Upgrade complete. Command center has that'll cost more minerals than we have.
What's going on? TV ready. I'm good. What's that? Go ahead. I'm in it.
Oh,
I'm waiting on you. Are you ready? Talk to me, boss.
we don't have enough minerals.
Ah,
Need
you
more
scared
minerals
me.
for that.
Light it up. Are you ready for this?
We don't have enough minerals.
Daylight burning. Failed you? I'm waiting. Talk to me, boss. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. It's your dime, huh? Light it up.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
All day long. Yeah. Is here. Daylight's burning. Talk to me, boss. Get me. Get me. Are you?
Our base is under fire. Reporting for action.
I'm wasting away here. Beastyqt, huh? Boy is here. Ready to raise some hell. Sound? I am here.
We need more Beasty.
FCP ready.
Our base is under attack. Our base is under attack.
Waiting on you. Go ahead. Huh?
Upgrade complete. More minerals. We're hitting our don't have enough minerals.
It's all me.
Our base is under attack.
Good job, huh?
Our SCPs are under fire. Our base is under attack. Upgrade is ready. We read you. Nothing left in that mineral cluster. We have you on screen. Our base is under attack.
Got an extra firepower.
We're done with this stage. Our base is under attack.
Need something.
Yes, sir. Our base is under attack. Our SCVs are under fire.
Huh?
more minerals. Under attack. Need more minerals. Energy too low. We've exhausted our best team guys.
Hot button up.
What's that?
Online. Let's go, kid. It's heating up out here. Duck. I'm waiting.
Need something low. Give us your best shot.
Are you ready for this? What's going on?
They're hitting our SUVs.
Show
Our
me
best
who you
team guys
want
have
to
been
die.
tapped out.
I hear you got coordinates or what? Duck. Cyclone route.
Command center has been upgraded.
Load up. Go ahead. Got no patience. What's that?
Incoming orders.
Systems go. Cyclone ready for action.
Right. Need something blown up.
How can we help?
You got coordinates? Light it up. You got a target in.
Lay it on me.
Show me who you want. This ought to be good. Show me who you want it.
Energy's too low. That'll cost more minerals.
You got got a target in mind?
What's that?
Got any extra firepower? Moving into position.
Lay it on me. Go ahead.
Cyclone up out here. Raise some hell.
What's
Got a target in mind? This ought to be. Show me who you got. Channels clear, boss. Comms open.
lay it on me.
Commander.
You got extra firepower?
Go ahead. Speak up.
Need more minerals.
Got a target in it.
I hear you.
It's fired up. This ought to be good. You got coordinates over here?
Go ahead.
We have you on screen.
Give up.
How can we help? Perfect.
What's that?
It's heating up out here.
Got no patience.
Cyclone route.
What's our target?
We don't have enough minerals. We have you on screen.
Lay it on me. Give up.
Income.
Give us your best shot. What's our
Mineral
target?
field depleted.
Need something blown.
Comms open.
We've completely mined out a mineral field. We have you on screen.
Oh yeah. I see him. Cyclone received. Channel clear, boss.
Nothing left in that mineral cluster.
Show me.
Lay it on me.
You got coordinates?
That'll cost more minerals. Standing by. Got freedom?
Talk to me.
Yes, sir.
Cyclone receiving. Nothing'll stop me. Oh, I'll get them. Channel's clear, boss. Show me. You got got a target.
We read you. That'll cost more minerals.
Comms open. Oh, channel's clear, boss. This ought to be good. Oh, I'll get there. You got coordinates?
We have you on screen. Commander.
Optics online. Let's go kill something. Adjusting. I hear you. Got a target in mind. In gear. Cyclone en route. Cyclone.
How can we help?
Channels comms open. Show me who you want to die. Moving into position.
Battle station. under attack.
Systems. Adjusting for new
Our
coordinates.
base is under attack. Standing. Call the ball. Weapons.
Channels clear, Bob. You got coordinates.
Got freedom.
In gear. Comms open. Go ahead. Channels clear, boss. Oh, I'll get there. Moving into position. Cyclone receiving. Nothing'll stop me.
Yeah? I got my ears.
This ought to be good. Cyclone on.
How can we help? Moving into position.
Comms open.
Holla back.
Show me who you want.
What's going on?
Yeah, this ought to be good. I get you.
Receiving. I got
Got a target in mind. In here.
loud and clear.
Channels clear, boss.
Receiving. I got my ears on. Turbines to full. Inbound. Right. Targets acquired. Confirmed. Done and done. Weapons hot. Holla back. That's fine.
This ought to be good.
I got my ears.
Show me who you want to die.
Loud and
Comms open.
holla back.
Channels clear, boss. You got coordinates of what?
Yeah? Can do. To battle station.
I get you.
Receiving. Mineral field depleted.
Cyclone receiving.
I got
Show
our
me who
base
you
is
want
under
to die.
attack.
Open it. You got channels clear, boss. Comms open. Oh, I'll get there. In gear. Adjusting for new coordinates.
Loud and clear.
Channels clear.
I got my
Oh my. I want to see how far ahead behind I was. I killed 28 workers. That run by that he did messed me up because I was super far ahead and then I lost 17 workers to links. Okay, so I want to see. This is where he pushed in. I underestimated the Mutas. I was like, I'll send one Thor, and I was like, I'll send another, and I was like, I'll send a third, but then I ended up losing. This was really good timing for me. Because the Thor popped, and then another Thor popped. This was kind of Pepega by me leaving the stuff. And his macro was really good. He had so many bases. Oh yeah, this was kind of done too. Like you can see he's putting the Mutas to the side because he wants to base trade. Like this whole playstyle with Mutas is all about base trading. Like at this point I knew 100% he's just gonna stick to Mutas. This was really bad for him, I think. Like he underestimated the turrets and the Thor, and he actually lost a buttload of Mutas there. At this point I was trading better, but those Banelings killing both CCs was bad. And then this was also bad. Like when this happened, I was like, I'm not going back because I'm already there. If I go back, the turrets are gonna go down, the Mutas are gonna fly in, you know, it's too much of a hassle. Obviously didn't know, where is his Mutas? Oh, he only had, oh yeah, he lost all the Mutas here already. So the base trade starts, like, look at the units lost. Oh yeah, he lost like every single Muta. So what I'm doing is trying to get in between the bases straight away. I should have split the Hellbats, but I was more worried about splitting the Thors because I didn't want to die to Muta. It would be really good if I managed to save more Hellbats. He goes for the thing here, but I have +3 armor, by the way, which I prioritize over +3 weapons versus Mutas. It's really, really good. But yeah, his economy at this point is like 14 SCVs versus 64 drones. Like, holy sh... Like, he had bases everywhere. I thought maybe he had this one, and this one. But he had the one here and the one in the top. And he remade his production buildings, right? Oh wait, he didn't. I just killed them all. This was really good. The Link's not being able to get anything. Oh yeah, he forgot to build a spawning pool. I think if he did, he would have won. And now he has no larva because he's losing hatcheries. I was actually in a situation like this before when I played Zerg. You actually have so much money, but you can't spend it. Every time the locusts came in, I just turtled up by my Hellbats. And I didn't remake the SCVs, by the way. I just went for it, because when I started seeing how many hatcheries he has, I just didn't rebuild any workers. Should have sent like 2 Hellions there. I did, but... Oh wait. Oh yeah, I did. But that was like to kill the base. That was a super close game though. Super, super close game. This is the units lost. So this playstyle is basically something new, quote unquote, aka in the past like 3 to 6 months, not even 6, 3 months came up. And this is something, if you're Terran, you might have faced, especially in higher leagues, and you've probably seen it at like high level streamers play against this as well. Like, the only advice I can give you from Terran / mech point of view is whenever Zerg opens mutas and then loses them and then remakes them again, they're 100% going to go for just mass muta base trade. His whole plan was for me to get out of my base and then run in and base trade. And the Zerg playstyle is basically you expand everywhere. So it doesn't matter where the Terran goes, even if they have better army, you expand everywhere and you just base trade. Like, you go for full elimination kind of base trade, not just to get a base. The best thing you can do as a Terran, what I should have done, is you want to make sure you secure as much as you can with static defenses. So for example, on this map, right? Let me catch up so I can give you guys advice, because I know a lot of people are struggling right now with this playstyle. Maybe not in like, you know, gold, but Diamond Master GM. So if you do see this playstyle, the Zerg will mass expand everywhere and their army is basically trash. Like, your army beats it every time. So that's why the Zerg is going to try to base trade. So what I did good is this defense right here. So one Thor, which is only like nothing supply basically compared to how many mutas he would need to invest into this. He would trade super inefficiently. I was getting building armor and auto tracking. So this Thor and these turrets defend this whole side from mutas, right? Mutas technically could go around, but that's basically all-inning with mutas, and he doesn't know if you have Thors in the main base. My army was like spread around here, right? So he can't attack from that angle. And the last thing that I need to check off is sensor tower to make sure the mutas don't go on top and this side. So I had some widow mines, which is you can do, you don't need to do. So at this point, there's nowhere for him to go with mutas, right? So the only time he can attack is through base trade once you leave the base. What I could have done better is left like one Thor here, maybe like a tank, and then a planetary with 4 or 5 turrets. So then I would cover this. I got that covered. This is a planetary, which I messed up because, you know, Banelings killed both CCs. If they only killed a planetary, I could have just rebuilt it. And there's no point of entry, right? Because my reinforcements would be here. There's turrets everywhere. And then even if he goes for a base trade, he basically won't be able to do what he needs to do to win. Another thing about this playstyle from the Zerg to be careful about is if you wait too long, like if you just don't attack, they're gonna outmine you completely. So you actually need to attack even though you kind of don't want to, only when you're maxed, and always prioritize armor against this. Now, eventually when you do attack or don't attack, there's a chance they're gonna remax with higher tier units instead of Zergling banging Muta. The good thing is you only need like 5-6 tanks. Everything else can be Thor Hellbat Liberator. And the good part about that is Thor Liberator Hellbat will deal with both Ultra and Broodlord. The only issues you might have is versus Vipers, but that's when Zerg would have to completely switch their tech, and your army is going to be very mobile because you don't have many siege tanks. So that's something to keep in mind, but Thors are your best friends. And trust me, don't underestimate the Mutas, okay? Do not, because, yeah, like, Mass Muta can destroy any amount of Thors if the Zerg splits properly. Obviously, like, 20 Thors are gonna demolish Mutas, but if you have 5-6 Thors, don't feel too confident. So, yeah. If you know he's going to YOLO a bunch of Mutas, why not get a few Widow Mines to the most exposed areas? Because that's a wasted supply and a bad idea. So, few Widow Mines, I'm assuming you're talking minimum 4. So you would need 4 in the natural, 4 on the last base, 4 in between the main and the natural. That's 12. That's 24 supply that's doing nothing if they don't attack there. So it's better to just put 1 Thor, and that's it. Widow Mines can be better because they can just blow up the whole Muta army, but the better the opponent, the less chance of him running into the Widow Mines. And it's a lot better to have mobile units that are actually less supply per base than to have static is easier but not better. So there it is. I don't know how common this is in like lower leagues, but again, I'm pretty sure at least at Master and up, this is becoming more and more common strategy. So there you go. A little like playthrough and then a guide slapped, you know, on the back of it. So I hope you guys learned something new today. All right, let's keep going.